So we've got quite a few updates for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore. Footage was shown and some big details have been revealed. Plus, the UK is getting the film early. So a convention at Cine Europe, Warner Brothers showed some behind the scenes stuff of The Secrets of Dumbledore. And Deadline has reported that there was a quick glimpse of Mads Mikkelsen as Gellert Grindelwald. The story picks up in the 1930s, a little after the events of the previous film, and will take place in such far-flung locales as Bhutan, Germany, the US, the UK and China. Evoked were new creatures, old favourites, more magic, and even a peek back into Hogwarts. So let's break this all down. Mads Mikkelsen as Gellert Grindelwald was finally shown, but this hasn't been made public yet. We don't know what he looks like, even though there is a few descriptions of him out there. And I think the first public shot of this film is likely going to be him and Dumbledore, as out of the three main characters, they are the two that everyone really cares about. They're the two most popular, and that's what the fans want to see. They want to see Grindy and Dumbledore. Like I said, it hasn't made its way online yet. There hasn't been any leaks or official photos, but supposedly Maz's version of Grindelwald wears a dark suit, has grey/silver hair, but no facial hair, and has much more of a subtle off-eye colour than Johnny Depp's version. And basically they've described Mads Mikkelsen's Grindelwald as basically Wizard Hannibal, and I'm alright with that, because I think Maz is going to do a fantastic job, no pun intended. He's an amazing actor, whether it's in Hannibal or Casino Royale or whatever he's done. In fact, we might get this behind the scene in a few days or a few weeks. Exactly the same one, or maybe something very similar. But no matter what, very hyped, very interested to see what it looks like. As for the story being set in the 1930s, remember Fantastic Beasts originally was 5 films set from 1926 to 1945. The first movie was December 1926, and Crimes of Grindelwald was 1927, a few months later. So if we go into the 1930s, even if it's 1930 itself, it's not really a little after the previous film. It's at least 3 years, maybe even more. And that's a huge gap, because the first film to the second film was just a few months. And even if you go into Harry Potter, every school year is one book, so at least 3 years is massive. It's a huge, significant time jump in the Wizarding World, and it's something we're not used to. Perhaps it's to distance itself from the second film, or maybe there's some reason because of it in the plot. Not exactly sure why, but it's interesting to see what everyone's been up to. As for locations, we're going to Bhutan, Germany, the US, the UK and China. So we've got 2 Asian countries in Bhutan and China, and I think Asia is a very exciting part of the Wizarding World, and is yet to be explored on the big screen. Like, there's so much potential in a Wizarding World version of Asia, in terms of the culture, and in terms of the movies, the beasts themselves, with all the new potential creatures. Not exactly sure why we're in Bhutan and China. Perhaps Newt is returning the Zuwu from Crimes of Grindelwald, or maybe he's looking for new beasts, or maybe it's part of Grindelwald's plan. Honestly don't know, but I am very excited to see parts of Asia we have not seen yet in the Wizarding World, and only heard about really on Pottermore and other Wizarding World sources. But there's parts of Asia like China and Bhutan that just make so much sense in the Wizarding World. We can see that the Wizarding World, just like our real world, is vastly different depending on where you go. And just add magic to the mix. There's so much they can do. As for Germany, we knew that Berlin was going to play a massive part of this movie, probably to do with all the politics involved in the plot, centered around Grindelwald's plan to take over the Wizarding World and the International Confederation of Wizards. Not sure if Grindelwald will only be focused around Berlin, not sure if he's going to go to other places, but supposedly he does cross paths with Newt at some point. But with all these locations all over the world, I think they need to be careful. They don't want this movie to feel like a montage of characters all over the world. You know, hopping over to other countries every 5-10 minutes or whatever. I want them to spend enough time, in each of these places, and make it worthwhile. and at the same time make sense and not take away from the plot. So we're also going back to America. Perhaps we will go back to New York and MACUSA, but I want to see more. And we know that Professor Eulalie Hicks, more commonly known as Lally, who is the Charms Professor at Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry in America, is going to have a big role, and she is a very close associate of Albus Dumbledore. And also Nicholas Flamel, as we saw in Crimes of Grindelwald. She's going to have a larger role in this film. And this is probably all centered around the fact that Dumbledore has international contacts all over the world. These powerful and influential wizards and witches all over the world have come together and formed a secret organization. Very similar, if not exactly the same, as the Order of the Phoenix, but on an international scale, working together to stop Gellert Grindelwald. It kind of reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The White Lotus. The UK is no surprise because that's the home of Harry Potter. We'll probably go to London and the Ministry of Magic, and obviously Hogwarts, which was shown. So yeah, there's a lot of new and old returning locations. But where's Brazil? Where's Rio de Janeiro, which was confirmed a long time ago? There's no mention of Rio or Brazil anywhere. It seems like Brazil has been cut from this film. Perhaps during the screenplay rewrite that J.K. Rowling done between film 2 and 3, or perhaps it's to do with the pandemic where it was impossible to go to Brazil, and filming it on set in the UK was just not good enough. It wouldn't do it justice. So they scrapped it, as they wanted to shoot on location and do it right. And that's a bit crappy, as the Wizarding World version of Brazil could have been incredible. Just like Asia with all its cultural aspects and the beasts. Like the Amazon rainforest is not too far away, so just imagine the types of beasts you would get in Brazil. But Brazil hasn't made it to the film, and we don't know why. Like, they're not releasing a statement telling us. I just hope perhaps it can make it back into the future. Maybe film 4 or 5. As for new creatures, the beasts in my opinion have always been a strong point of this series. Even though in film 2 they did take a back seat. But I think the beasts have got limitless potential. Whether it's iconic beasts from mythology, or ones made up for the Wizarding World, or somewhere in the middle. Like personal favourites of mine include the Niffler, Frank the Thunderbird, the Zubu, the Phoenix, and I'm excited to see more of them, more beasts, old and new. As for magic, no surprise, and Hogwarts is coming back. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is the only movie where Hogwarts does not appear. It was mentioned, but it wasn't until part 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald, where we see Hogwarts. And just remember how you felt when you saw it in the trailer for the first time. It's just so iconic. Fans love Hogwarts, they want to see it. And Dumbledore's there. But it's possible Dumbledore could be on the move in this movie. Like the synopsis says, how long can Dumbledore stay on the sidelines? I think not for very long. We're going to see a more active Dumbledore in this movie. And it's perhaps time for the Professor to put down his quill and become the leader we all know he is. But really, there's still a lot we don't know about this movie. There are some potential spoilers from the test screenings online, but that might not be the final product, and there has been some heavy reshoots. So until we get some more official information and see it for ourselves, there's still a big mystery. So yeah guys, make sure you post your thoughts on anything I've mentioned in the video, and let me know how you feel about Brazil being cut from the film. It is a bit crappy, but on a positive note, the UK and Ireland will be getting the film on April the 8th, 2022, a week earlier than most places. And chances are some international viewers will get it on the same day, maybe earlier. But the US is getting it on the 15th, the UK and Ireland on the 8th. So that means my review is going to be up a week earlier. So we'll probably get some footage very soon, definitely before the end of the year. And it's all going to be on the channel to get all the Harry Potter, all the Fantastic Beasts, all the Wizarding World stuff. Make sure you subscribe. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more videos and I'll see you soon.